She thought she'd buried it, locked it away for over a decade, hidden behind steel and sarcasm and every hard-won inch of her empire. But then a baby appeared on her doorstep, and Carla Connor's whole world cracked open. Tonight, we're talking about the Coronation Street moment that's left fans reaching for the tissues. Carla's devastating confession about the miscarriage she never truly recovered from, and why this quiet, aching scene is being called one of the most powerful the soap has delivered in years. If you've been anywhere near Coronation Street social media over the past few days, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. In scenes that first landed on ITVX before airing on ITV1, Carla Connor, played with typical raw intensity by Allison King, sat her fiancé Lisa Swain down and told her something she'd never told anyone on the cobbles before, that years ago, she was pregnant, excited, already imagining a daughter, and then lost that baby in the most heartbreaking way. It's a storyline strand that's been buried in Corrie history for over a decade, and bringing it back into the light has struck a nerve with viewers in a way few subplots manage these days. So, let's rewind a little, because to understand why this moment lands so hard, you need to understand who Carla Connor is and what she's been carrying all this time. For those who don't watch every single episode, Carla has long been one of Weatherfield's most complicated, most magnetic characters. A factory boss, a survivor, a woman who has been through addiction, breakdowns, betrayal, and heartbreak more times than most soap characters manage in a lifetime. She's tough as nails on the surface, but underneath that armor, Corrie has always hinted at deep, unresolved pain. And it turns out one of the biggest wounds was one we barely got to see play out in real time. Back in 2014, Carla was pregnant with Peter Barlow's baby. At the time, her relationship with Peter was in freefall, and Carla was deeply unsure about whether she even wanted to continue the pregnancy. She was so conflicted, in fact, that she went as far as visiting an abortion clinic, accompanied by her sister-in-law Michelle. But before she could make that final decision, fate intervened in the cruelest way. Carla collapsed and was rushed to hospital, where doctors delivered devastating news. She had suffered a miscarriage roughly 5 months into the pregnancy, losing a baby she had, by that point, already grown attached to. It was a gutting, quietly devastating storyline at the time, but as is often the way with soaps juggling dozens of characters, it was never really revisited. Carla moved on to other traumas, other storylines, other chapters of her chaotic Weatherfield life. The loss just sort of faded into the background of her history. Until now. Because in scenes that aired at the start of March, something happened that forced Carla to confront that grief head-on. Rob Donovan, Carla's brother, has been a recurring source of chaos for the Connor family, and his complicated personal life came back to bite everyone when a baby was abandoned on Carla and Lisa's doorstep. That baby, it turned out, was Connie, the daughter Rob had fathered during a fling with a prison guard named Mandy, a storyline thread that had been quietly planted back during Carla's kidney donation drama in early 2025 and left dormant ever since. Suddenly, Corrie fans who'd almost forgotten about that plot point found themselves watching it explode into the present day, with Carla and Lisa unexpectedly thrust into looking after a baby that wasn't theirs. What made the scenes so powerful wasn't the plot mechanics of it all, it was Carla's reaction. Rather than being thrilled or even neutral about suddenly having a baby in the house, Carla was visibly rattled, uncomfortable, and reluctant in a way that clearly confused Lisa. It's here that the emotional gut punch arrives. Sitting down with her fiancé, Carla finally opened up about the miscarriage she suffered all those years ago, explaining that she'd once been pregnant with a little girl she desperately wanted, only to lose her. She admitted that she thought she had processed that pain and moved past it, but the sudden appearance of baby Connie brought all of it rushing back to the surface. In one of the most quietly devastating lines of the episode, Carla reflected that her daughter would have been 11 years old by now, a thought that clearly still weighs on her more than she's ever let on. It's the kind of scene that could have easily tipped into melodrama, but by all accounts, both Allison King and Vicky Myers, who plays Lisa Swain, handled it with a restraint and tenderness that made it land even harder. Lisa, who had never heard about this chapter of Carla's past, was floored by the revelation, and it's clear the moment has recontextualized how she sees her partner. Speaking about the scenes, Allison King has said it felt important to finally touch on this piece of Carla's history, noting that it hadn't really been addressed much until Connie's unexpected arrival made it impossible to ignore. Vicky Myers has echoed that sentiment, suggesting that seeing this side of Carla, softer, more vulnerable, more haunted than her usual hard exterior lets on, has actually strengthened her bond with Lisa rather than shaken it. According to Myers, that vulnerability revealed a trust and loyalty between the two women that hadn't fully surfaced before. And it seems fans agree. Since the episode dropped early on ITVX ahead of its ITV1 broadcast, social media has been full of viewers praising the storyline for its sensitivity and its willingness to revisit something so painful without turning it into a shock value plot twist. Corrie has never shied away from tackling baby loss and miscarriage as subjects, and longtime viewers know the show has handled similar storylines with other characters in the past, drawing praise from viewers and charities alike for raising awareness around a topic that so many families quietly live with but rarely see reflected on screen. This time around, fans have been commenting on how much heavier the moment feels precisely because it's tied to a decade-old wound rather than a fresh storyline, showing that grief doesn't simply vanish just because a soap moves on to other drama. Entertainment outlets covering British soaps have similarly highlighted the episode as one of the more emotionally resonant installments in a while, with several praising the writing team for weaving a years-old plot thread back into the present day in a way that actually deepens Carla's character rather than feeling like a random retcon. There's also been a wave of appreciation for how the storyline ties back to Carla's broader arc as a character who has survived so much trauma over the years. From her breakdown storylines to surviving a violent attack, to more recently battling sepsis and needing a kidney transplant, an ordeal that ironically was what brought her back into contact with her troubled brother Rob in the first place. Fans have pointed out that Carla's journey has always been about resilience in the face of relentless hardship, and this quiet, understated reveal about her miscarriage adds yet another painful layer to a character who has spent years putting on a brave face for everyone around her. So, what does this mean going forward? For now, Carla has agreed to help look after baby Connie, reasoning that keeping the little one close is better than seeing her go into care, especially given everything Connie has already been through with her chaotic parentage. There's even a lighter, very Corrie touch to the decision, Carla wryly noting that the baby has clearly inherited Rob's eyebrows, a small moment of dark humor amid the emotional heaviness. But viewers are already speculating about where this could lead. Will caring for Connie become a genuine turning point for Carla, perhaps opening the door to her finally processing that old grief in a healthier way? Could this experience push Carla and Lisa closer toward discussing their own future as a couple, especially with their wedding storyline already bubbling in the background? And what happens when Rob, currently entangled in his usual mess of secrets and schemes, eventually has to properly step up as Connie's father? There's also the bigger picture to consider. Coronation Street has been building toward a major flash-forward special event later in the year, one that producers have teased will tie together an unusually large number of character storylines into a single dramatic turning point. While Carla's miscarriage reveal seems, on the surface, like a self-contained emotional beat, longtime Corrie viewers know that nothing on this show exists in isolation. Given how central Carla has been to some of the street's biggest recent dramas, from her health scare to her fractured family relationships, it wouldn't be surprising if this resurfaced grief plays some role in shaping her arc as the show builds toward its next big event. For now, though, what's resonating most with fans isn't speculation about future plot twists, it's simply the raw honesty of the scene itself. In an era where soaps are often criticized for leaning too heavily into shock twists, murder mysteries, and over-the-top villains, this quieter, character-driven moment has reminded viewers why Coronation Street has stayed must-watch television for over 6 decades. Sometimes the most powerful storytelling isn't about who did what to whom. It's about a woman finally telling the truth about a pain she's carried alone for over 10 years. So that's where things stand with Carla, Lisa, baby Connie, and the emotional gut punch that's had Corrie fans talking all week. It's a storyline that ties together years of history, brings fresh depth to one of the show's most enduring characters, and reminds us that even the toughest people on the cobbles are still carrying wounds we never see. Whether this leads to a deeper reckoning for Carla, a stronger bond with Lisa, or simply a quiet, ongoing thread as the show heads toward its next big storyline event, one thing's for certain: this is a chapter of Coronation Street that fans won't be forgetting anytime soon. Let us know what you thought of this storyline down in the comments below. Did this scene hit you as hard as it hit everyone online? Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss another Coronation Street update, because with a show this unpredictable, you can bet there's plenty more drama just around the corner on the cobbles.